Ashes of Creation keeps getting exciting updates, and it's crazy what they have done so far with the game. We even have seasons where mobs are changing and all. We keep getting new class updates and all. It's exciting. And yeah, the question is, does Ashes of Creation have the best dynamic content in MMOs? We're about to find out.
Hey, what up boys? It's that time again, time for my channel's 10 minutes of relevancy a month as we break down Ashes of Creation's most important updates so far. Updates to the node system, mayoral systems, economy, and building. 4 extremely in-depth subjects that I have the graceful task of breaking down into a 10-minute video.
What on earth did I do to wrong you, Stephen? Please, why do you punish me so?
But before we get into that, our beautiful patrons and coped out the wazoo Twitch subs and I would love for you to grab yourself a Coca-Cola because this month was another banger and I'm very tight on time. So let's begin, shall we? So to start with, there were 2 big announcements. The first is a Stephen interview with discussion round later in September, so make sure to check that out either on my channel when I break it down or over on Ashes of Creation stream. The second announcement is that the pre-order packages for Alpha 2 are being discontinued, and we'll find out more information about that during the September cosmetic swap over. Now, time for the thing that you're actually...
There's actually a way they have been financing their production and stuff, right? So if they no longer do this, like... Okay, maybe they already have enough or they are like far enough already, but yeah, this was actually good for them to finance themselves, right?
September cosmetic swap over. Now, time for the thing that you're actually here for, the node update. Today, we were graced with a bunch of developers, all of which work intimately with this system, and they all gave us some very in-depth analysis of how these nodes function and the direction Ashes of Creation are taking it here in 2023. 2 whole years since we last saw it. We were also treated to the return of a highly praised format, the slideshows. This time, they were doing it live rather than a pre-recorded video, which was a nice upgrade. I won't be talking in detail about each of these particular slides because they're far too in-depth. I will just overview them with a screenshot so we can keep this video concise alongside the gameplay. Fear not though, due to the insane
I really love the way the cloak is moving.
There will be plenty of videos detailing all of these subjects that you want to learn about specifically. To begin with, they approach the node from a distance, and right off the bat, it really is visually stunning.
Wow, that really does look impressive. Like, imagine you had such settlements in, like, New World, for example. Yo, but one thing that always impresses me about Ashes of Creation is, like, the way the world feels. Like, look at, like, how the wind is, like, affecting the way your cloak is moving while you're, like, walking around, right? And even, like, the grass, the bushes, and all that, like, how it's, like, moving with the wind and stuff. Like, same with the seasons. I feel like when it comes to like exploration, like Ashes of Creation is going to be one of those MMOs where you actually will love to explore the world because it looks just so stunning, right? It looks so nice.
The bat, it really is
like, look at
visually
this.
stunning.
Everything is moving from the wind
everyone
and
involved. They started by explaining the core mechanics behind citizenship and housing systems, explaining that obtaining a house is step 1 of becoming a citizen. And citizenship is
so you have to
one
grind
of the
rep,
fundamental parts of playing this game. There are 4 types of housing right now in the form of apartments, in-node housing, freeholds, and the newly introduced, more accessible type of housing, the inns. A few of these mechanics were not representative.
It's a bit like in ESO, right?
However, there are some great parallel examples we can use to represent this and fill the gaps.
I think, yeah, this is like also with the price classes. This is kind of like that with like in ESO. You have like notable homes that are mostly like mansions, or you get like a big sort of graveyard or something that you can turn into your house. You can even build like structures from scratch in some. And you get like small houses, you get inns that are actually for free even, what is crazy, right? So yeah, this is interesting. So maybe they were actually inspired by the housing in Elder Scrolls Online.
We can use to represent this and fill the gaps. Black Deserts Online has some instance department rooms and inn-type buildings for purchase, and I think these represent what
Final Fantasy XIV has also that with like the instances.
Arcade has a pretty close example of how freeholds will function in Ashes of Creation's open world. Obviously, these are not 100% representative, but I still think it's important to offer real-life examples to help fill the gaps until we see it in-game for real. The next topic is another core component to the game's social structure, the mayor system. For scientific, you are chosen by a popular vote. For economic nodes, you bid blindly with in-game currency. For a divine node, you do a PvE favor grinding event, and for military nodes, they've gone with an in-node PvP event that you can fight for the mayor position in an instanced PvP battleground with other players who can choose to support potential candidates.
Wow. So if you like someone, you want him to be the mayor, like you fight with him, make a group, and if like the most OP players are put. But yo, won't people like abuse this? Like, what if someone is like super rich and they just pay people like to fight with them so they win the mayor or something? But one thing is confusing here with the mayorship. And it's actually the first time I hear that the Ash of Creation has such system. That's actually very fascinating. Something impressive again. Like I keep saying, like Ash of Creation keeps getting insane updates. Like they really want this to be the best MMO or something, it seems like. Like seriously. Like we can see that they're having so many plans for the game. But when can they actually finish this? Because if they make this and that, even in 10 years, the game is not done. Maybe next month they come up with something new. Like it takes so much effort and time to do this. But look, election types, like this is something I'm very confused about. We have scientific, economic, divine, military. Do we have them all at the same time, or is there like one at a time? I'm very confused about that. Like this is something I would love to understand.
Other players who can choose to support potential candidates. I do want to note here that Stephen did refer to the node that they were currently in as an academic node, so I'm not quite sure where that fits in. However, it is likely that the scientific node has been renamed to academic for ease of understanding. In addition, the node types were not really represented in this clip due to them only really showing this one. However, they did confirm that there are multiple node streams planned, so I suspect that these will be the main feature in a later showcase. The next slide is a completely new mechanic known as mandates. These mandates are unique to the mayors during their term, and the mandates themselves are node abilities that can enable the mayors to activate certain actions.
Wait,
this
what?
Is basically an energy system that the citizens of a node accumulate by doing activities that support the mayor's choices. There was no specific clips related to mandates, but they did give us a few examples.
1 second. Did I read this correct? So citizenship participation in various activities will generate mandates. Activities include even construction? Node war, node siege. Okay. Okay, so there are some actions that cost okay, so we have taxes, okay. Constructions, of course, building expansion like that, all costs, okay. So this is like shared between the citizens or something, right? So let's say they built a new big house or a new church or something. Everyone has to pay like a little bit or something, right? But what about like, this is something that's confusing me now. What if there's like a low level player or one that's like just new to the game, does not have like much cash? What about them? They must pay the same as like a veteran player that is like super rich? Or is it like based on how much gold someone has? Like what if someone actually goes broke? This is something I'm actually wondering about. Imagine someone really has 0 gold or barely any gold or whatever the currency is going to be in the game. What happens then? They lose citizenship? They just get kicked out? Like what happens if someone has no cash? That's something I'm actually curious about. They did not explain that, or did they? Like what happens if you run out of cash?
Citizens of a node accumulate by doing activities that support the mayor's choices. There was no specific clips related to mandates, but they did give us a few examples, like being able to bypass citizens' votes to confirm a building's initiation because the mayor deems it necessary despite the citizens disagreeing. I really like this power dynamic between the mayor
You're like a
and
dictator, like a true king.
It really allows for some niche and interesting social dynamics that has been missing in MMORPGs since, well, before I can remember. Next, they talked about commissions, which are basically mayor-activated quests and activities. They cost gold out of the node's treasury and give a slew
Wow,
of
I
rewards
like
for both
that.
the node and players participating. The
Wow.
last global mechanic for nodes is known as policies. These are zone-wide buffs that the citizens vote on, and each node has a certain amount of slots available for these buffs at one time.
Like
now,
faster
the next segment
movement or
is
something,
more
right?
closely related to the gameplay, the service buildings. They are broken into two types, active and passive ones. These offer benefits to a variety of ways and
Wow.
work similarly to the freehold buildings, just on a much wider scale. These buildings offer artisan-related stations, questing content, business opportunities, and a plethora of buffs that increase the efficiency of players' gameplay. In addition, they also showed us their procedural building animation, and
Whoa.
this was fantastic.
That looks good.
It is worth noting that we're seeing this building at around 10 to 20 times the speed that it actually will
Yeah.
be, so that's why it looks
How
a
long does it
little bit
usually take? How many
immersion-breaking
in-game days?
in this clip. Also in this segment, they gave us a tease of the building's skill tree and how players can progress these buildings over the long term, as well as their destruction and maintenance requirements.
Wait, and they are going to add unique looks based on the upgrade tree? So if you pick this, then the building gets armored. If you add this, there's a furnace in the building or what? Like, are they gonna do it? Like, yo, this game will take forever to develop like this. They're adding so many features. And I'm sure like some buildings will take several days, if not even weeks, months, if they add like a lot of buildings. And yo, this game is huge. Like, like if they go through like this, like from what I'm seeing, Ashes of Creation 3 has the potential to become the best and biggest MMO. And by biggest, I mean there are just so many freaking features. Like, it's not just about questing, but you can like do stuff with friends, like social content, right? And social content gets not boring. If, for example, you quest through ESO or World of Warcraft or something, right? You do a quest line one time, you're done with it. The second time, it's probably boring, or at least the third time, it's boring, right? Some people maybe enjoy something twice, but not 3 times usually. But like this, you always have a unique, feeling. Like once if you change your citizenship, you go to another place with another mayor, and then you have something else. Like maybe this time you want to go for this building for this perk. And this is something that I love, for example, about games like Skyrim, where there's like certain randomness, and even if you go to the same zones and you do the same content, kind of, right? It's unique in a way because something is different about it. I really love this here. That's good.
Around this time, they also showed us the mayor's UI in relation to choosing which of these buildings they want to build. Any building can be placed into any slots, allowing mayors to choose the locations of buildings for citizens' convenience.
That's impressive.
Finally, they talked about one of the core economic systems in the game called buy orders. These are one of the most important mechanics in the whole game, as they're used to help nodes build their service buildings and reward players with reputation and an important player-bound currency.
Let me guess, you get a title based on your
caravan systems
reputation.
that encourage players to travel across the world to fulfill these buy orders. Now, I tried to show clips of the gameplay
look at the
segments
fire.
to highlight the subjects that we spoke about, but this month the clip was 52 minutes long. I highly recommend you watch the whole
I
thing
love
over
this game
on
so
Ashes
far.
of Creation's official channel, where it's uploaded in 4K, but I understand that some of you cannot spare the time. Therefore, I will do my best to show you some additional highlights, because the node was truly visually stunning. All throughout the node, the levels of handcrafted details was phenomenal, and the node itself, being Kayla in Origin,
you can pick to
showed
build
an
this?
incredible amount of diversity with a lower and upper level. Finally, they also showed off some basic crafting mechanics. However, it seems the highly anticipated minigame related
Crystallized
to the
blood
crafting
sword.
is not implemented
Kind
yet.
of sword
So
is that?
I guess we'll be
Out of
looking
blood?
forward to that in a future stream, as well as a tease for an upcoming caravan related stream too. Overall, I was very impressed with the new direction that they're going with these nodes. It's a massive upgrade to the Alpha 1
Wow.
versions, and
What
I
do you
am
get from
really
this?
looking forward to seeing the other races node aesthetics
Extra food.
sometime in the near future.
More saturation.
Remember guys, the Alpha 2 is not years away. Now, they followed this up with a bunch of additional Q&A, but this is way out of the scope of today's video due to the niche nature of it. So I think we're just going to end today's video there, and I look forward to delivering you a bunch of additional videos throughout the month of September. And that's pretty much everything from this month's live stream. Obviously, a lot of nuance is lost in the translation of this breakdown, so I cannot recommend enough coming to twitch.tv/Darkverse, where we're going to be rewatching the whole stream again and pausing every single nanosecond to analyze every single minute detail, because we're high on copium.
True. We're high on copium. Yo, this is impressive. Yo, that's such a big update with the nodes. Wow, imagine like you become a mayor and then you say, hey, I want there to be a big church or a big smithing house. Wow, imagine like I actually plan on maybe going for a healer. I actually kind of like healing as well in some MMOs, but I also like DPS. So either I would be DPS or healer. If I go DPS, I go for mage. Maybe if I become mayor, I build a large mage tower. If I become a cleric and a healer support or something, I would build a big church if I become a mayor. Wow, imagine like we're streaming this and you guys help me push for mayor and then we all discuss in chat what kind of buildings we want. Ooh, yeah, and then let's add a big church or big mage tower or something. No, that's crazy. I actually love this. And the way, like I keep saying also with the environment, right? I've pointed out several times with like the grass, how it's moving, the bushes, the cloak, even the fire there, those kind of lamps that were hanging down from this one building. I feel like look-wise, this game looks so pretty. It looks better than any MMO I'm currently playing. I think graphics-wise, what I'm currently playing that gets like maybe the closest is either, I don't know, ESO or New World maybe, but this is insane. Like the whole world looks good and the content is good. And usually you get these days only one thing in MMOs. Either a shit graphics and shit look like Lords of the Rings Online, but gameplay is very great, right? Or like with WoW. This is definitely out there with the engine, or you get like some games that have super nice graphics but suck from gameplay wise. But yeah, this game, Ashes of Creation, with all those things we have never seen in any MMO before. I wonder if like Ashes of Creation is going to be one of those games that will shape the future of gaming. Because it does have potential with it, right? Like not only does it have like crazy nodes, it has like the seasons as well, where like mobs change their look and maybe even abilities based on season. There are like season-wide quests or something, right? Or certain herbs that you can only gather during a certain season. So for those that are into crafting and for the market prices, this would be interesting. But yo, I'm hyped for Ashes of Creation. I can roughly guess when it will come out. It will be either like 2025 or somewhere mid-2026, I would guess. It's not gonna come out in a year. I can tell this already from just seeing those updates. 2 years at best, 3 years at worst, I would say. Unless they decide to add more, then it can be 4 years, but 25, 26 is my guess. But let's see. But yeah, if you guys are new to this channel, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more content. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give this one a thumbs up. And I will see you guys next time.